Hello, hello. Welcome to our weekly catch up on everything that has anything to do with search and AI. At this point, we do not talk about them separately at all. They are overlapping in so many ways. Just because AI is obviously integrated in Google search, which is our primary goal still and primary driver of visibility, but it is still changing too. So we are talking almost always about both AI and search during these quick broadcasts. They are live, they are free. Please join us every week, 1 p.m. EST. There is an interesting topic every week that we are discussing. We try to make them very practical so that it's not just what is going on, but also what to do about that as well. I'm an Smarty. I have been in SEO for more than 20 years, always organic, always Google, but now it's also all kinds of other discovery channels, which I'm excited about. So it's a huge learning curve for me as well. But definitely, I have seen it all. I have seen Google developing into the answer engine way before it became a thing to even call it an answer engine. But we've been seeing those trends for a while, and now, of course, they are accelerated by all the new channels that we have to deal with, especially ChatGPT, which is, I guess, the biggest competitor of with Google at this point. With me today and always, April, our brand identity, social media, outreach director, many roles she can fit in, but not necessarily as much SEO. So she will be asking questions that people can understand. I sometimes go too deep and too nerdy about the topic just because I've been in this for so long, and it's always nice to have questions that are from people who are not necessarily that deeply involved in this topic. Please do also ask your questions or give your feedback or provide us ideas for new episodes. Always welcome those. In my personal news from our company, we did start our own subreddit. I guess a little bit like 3 weeks ago, something like that. It is almost 600 members at this point, and I'm seeing a lot of new members coming every day, and they all have something to contribute. Please join. As I like to say, we try to break credit by being friendly. I already had a few conversations with other moderators who would tell me I'm too forgiving and I allow sometimes a little bit of self-promotion in my subreddit, which is what I intend to keep doing because frankly Reddit is very intimidating. So our subreddit is SEO for AI. There we're covering exclusively topics, news, tools, guidelines that are for businesses looking to become visible in AI answers, whether those part of the answer or citations to the answer. Both of those visibility factors we are very interested in figuring out and helping others to figure out as well. So please join. That's a good way to be in the know without trying to keep up with everything that's going on, which is very difficult. I'm doing lots of webinars and podcasts, and a very common question there is, how do we actually start optimizing for AI? And my answer is always that the most challenging part in the whole thing is to understand what is going on, and what it is we are doing will always follow, but there is so much noise, so much new experts that tell us that they know exactly the secret source for AI answers, so much loud people that it is very difficult to sort, to filter out something really useful, manageable, and doable. So I think that is what I'm trying to do with these broadcasts, with my subreddit, and also my newsletter. Please subscribe. And smarty.com is where I announce topics for these live streams and provide links to join as well. They are live, so not always we have the landing page. LinkedIn is the easiest here that provides like URL. You can subscribe before the event happens. Otherwise, follow me everywhere. SEO Smarty and Smarty on LinkedIn, SEO Smarty on X. There I'm broadcasting as well. So with this in mind, today we are actually talking about not such a new topic in the SEO industry. We've been paying attention to that for as long as I can remember. It has always been an unofficial getaway into search results, and that is called co-citation. Co-citation, to be very basic and very easy for you to understand, is being included in all kinds of top lists that are floating around for as long as I can remember as well. Being included next to well-known brands, well-known products, well-known entities, well-known experts, anything that is relevant to your business model, being listed there is the best way to be mentioned in AI answers more at this point. Again, not a new topic. Co-citation is something we've been always discussing in SEO industry. Google would never, as far as I'm would never give an official confirmation that that is part of Google search algorithm, but we've seen them all around Google. For example, if you search for something like top SEO experts, you will see the knowledge base driven panel actually listing experts that Google knows about. And if you click on every expert, you will see exactly which lists Google was able to pull these names from. And the more overlap, the in more lists you get listed, the better chances that you will be part of that little knowledge panel. So at least we know that Google, and that is not like you can search for something like top SEO CRM solutions or platforms. Chances are you will see the same thing, but for that as well. It's all driven by those listicles, as we call them. Top SEO experts, top CRM solutions, they are everywhere. AI is even more into using those lists. At least at this point, it looks like it's like the major source for their training data. Anytime you search for something commercial in ChatGPT or AI mode, asking something, who are the best CRM solutions? Who are the best lawyers in Dallas, for example? You will see all kinds of lists that AI used to pull the names out for you. Now, hate it or like it, listicles have been effective in SEO for many years. First of all, those have been historically the easiest way to get social media interactions, especially if you tag all those who you mentioned in that list on social media. Most of them will be there, liking, resharing. It is a great way to get links from some of those solutions as well. Many of those lists are affiliate driven. So if you see lists on listing tools or best solutions in some category or even best products, chances are those are all affiliate lists, whether those Amazon affiliate or native affiliate programs. That's how people make money. But because they are visible and they are everywhere, it has always been effective. As always, like with any SEO or now AI SEO tactic, there are two ways to do that. There is the right way to do that, and there is the wrong way to do that. The wrong way to do that is much easier to scale, and so far, sadly, it is very effective. So what is the wrong way to do that is to outsource those listicles to some freelancer who would write them and place them everywhere they can. It's like the old school link building, paid link building method. Sometimes and because it's SEO driven, you will see that SEOs just cannot help themselves. So sometimes I see myself mentioned in listicles like that. I go see what it is, and every link in that listicle is no follow, but the one that sponsored that list. It is something that makes it very obvious who bought that list, who paid for it, who outsourced it. And those listicles are placed in a very low quality websites that do not mind taking money if you guest post for them, basically. It is something that is absolutely working these days. You don't have to overpay to be in the listicle on, I don't know, Forbes or whatever other platform that is known for accepting those contributions. You can actually go very low level, and because those lists are fresh, AI doesn't have any for now, at least, that's as strong guidelines as Google. So a site can actually be not performing well in Google, but as long as it's indexed, getting in the list on that site will still be your getaway to AI answers. It is something that I would not definitely do. Again, there is the right and the wrong way to do that. I think that is the wrong way to do that. But as long as it is working, I have to tell you it is working. It is up to you how you do that. Now, there is the right way to do that, which is long-term and not easy. You collect all those URLs from Google, from Gemini, from AI Mode, from AI Overviews, from ChatGPT, from Perplexity. You collect all those listicles and you do the outreach the hard way. You try to get to know those editors, those writers, and ask them, can I be included in those? That is the best long-term way, because you, on your way to being listed, will also get to know those people that provide content in your area. You may become their friends, you may find partners. It's much more than just links or co-citation. It's relationship building component, which is always the most valuable thing that you can only think of. You can do both. Now, there is also the gray area, which I think is not the terrible idea, is that when you create high quality listicles, sometimes you publish them on your site, sometimes you find great platforms where you can place them either through free contribution, either from the way you can do it, and seed your co-citation that way, not while still using some quality standards. So it is going to be not you promoting yourself, it will be a very well-positioned comparison of how you stand out, how your competitors stand out, what they do better than you, and what you do maybe cheaper, maybe better, maybe for a certain audience, maybe for certain problems. That is helpful, even publishing on your website. That is food for AI. Those comparisons and listicles help AI to understand what is your definitive selling points and which prompts you are the best solution for. As long as you remain non-promotional, well-balanced, provide all the citations, provide your methodology if you compare, for example, user-generated content and input about each brand. Those are actually great as well. So whether I'm in my newsletter and smarty.com, again, subscribe. I do list quite a few tools you can use to analyze those most frequent citations, your best performing competitors based on those citations, the overlaps, where you're listed, where you're not listed, who of your competitors are listed the most and where. Check them out. One of them is a very well-known and a good friend of mine, Utterly. You can use them and see they actually updated a few weeks ago and became even better for that. Zip tie def is the other option you can check out and see what it is that gets your competitors listed more than you. It's always also the higher level planning and strategy, because you do need to know why you're not listed. How did they get listed? Sometimes it's an affiliate program that they promote more. Sometimes it's you not being in places where they are, and you're not investing in networking, relationship building as much. There are different reasons, and it is good to know those reasons as well. So it's not just you chase every opportunity, but you also change something in your marketing strategy so that you get more visibility in places where those bloggers, writers, journalists are. Always a good idea. Again, if you need help with that, and Smarty.com is where you subscribe, but Smarty.marketing is where you can find the free link to schedule a 15-minute meeting with me. No obligations, no money involved. I love looking at different cases. Sometimes I try to help as much as I can with tools that I know. It's always good to hear different people's stories and answer different questions as well. So feel free. It does get busy very quickly, but there are always some slots, at least a few weeks ahead. So Smarty.marketing is where you can find the link to schedule a quick meeting with me. Just 15 minutes. Again, I cannot afford to do them longer because they're absolutely free, and I will just talk about your particular case and what you can do to get more visibility in search, AI, both, Reddit, all of that as well. With that, I'm ready for questions. I know April had a few great ones. But again, there are different ways to approach co-citation. As the marketer with a huge history and seeing like those tactics that work pretty well going downhill, going more moderated, I would definitely suggest taking some in the middle approach, like being long term, but also pursuing other opportunities, not on a scale. Do not do them bulk, those, do not buy them in bulk, those listicles for sure, because that could be backfiring on your reputation as well when you get called out on doing that. Keep that in mind as well. In April, now you can share your questions as well.
I kind of addressed a lot of them. I would always go over them again, like just in case people came in later. But what would you recommend for like small brands who are just starting out to get co-citations?
It's a very good question. It does depend on your niche. I would definitely start with the research and understanding who is doing those listicles in your industry, how to get there, and what it is your competitors are doing to get into many of those lists. Sometimes it's something on the side they did. For example, I'm seeing a lot of e-commerce sites getting into listicles because they allow user uploaded pictures of their products in the reviews, and those are getting floating around the list as well very easily because they're more creative, they're more real. Sometimes it is that you just need to look what it is people are listing in your industry and then go from there. And outreach is useful. Again, not easy. I usually take a very long-term approach with connecting to those people on social media, interacting with them, not just emailing saying, hey, I want to be on that list. It is really awkward. Now, with self-created listicles, I really have that problem. I would love to test that strategy and just publish listicles, top SEO experts for 2025 or top Reddit experts for 2025, all of those, and just publish them myself. I always feel weird publishing anything like that on my site or social media because I'm listed there. I don't know how to other people are doing that with straight faces. I don't know how to do that. But you can always trade listicles. You can ask your friend to publish something mentioning you, and they will publish something for you. Unless you do that in bulk, on a scale, it is useful. Why not? If you're not just praising yourself in those listicles, if you give light and give spotlight to your competitors, it is good. Many of our clients have actual problem. Why do I make sure promoting my competitors if I'm the one publishing those listicles either through partnership or guest article? It has been a question a lot, and that's when you see those no follow links for your competitors but not to you. I would say it is not as much about promoting your competitors, it is about positioning yourself in comparison to your competitors. So anytime you create a listicle, and let's say your friend publishes that on LinkedIn, make sure you get into much detail, not about just yourself, but your competitors as well, what they are doing well that you are not doing, but what you are providing, how you stand out. Maybe that's your experience, maybe that's your unique expertise because you may be more technical or less into technical side, but more into creative approaches. So mentioning that is important. So view those listicles that you publish yourself as the opportunity to position yourself in the crowd of existing options, not just promote yourself and say, I'm the best out of all of this. So don't be greedy, give links to your competitors, tag them everywhere when you promote, because they will interact with those lists as well. So be generous, I guess my biggest point there. If you are very new in the industry and you don't have many connections, you don't have much history, it's not a bad idea to have those few listicles published on your behalf, whether it's your official company channels, maybe your friends. Promote them. At least you will get to know your competitors. You tag them, and probably that will be a great partnership instead of being competitors.
We have a question from Melina.
Okay, you joined. What about co-occurrence without listicles? For example, mentioning your brand name near other relevant brands of your niche, can it be? Yes. For AI, I would say I'll take links still, because I do think that a search is very important for sure, and a search understands links and connections, even if it's a social link to the social media, not necessarily your website, but that helps build knowledge base for Google for sure. They rely on links much when they want to understand, is this all about this singular entity and not some other name or some other brand name. But with AI, for sure, they do not care about links at all. They care about names and known entities. And the more you can get into links into listicles without any links, it's helpful for AI. And I'll take that as well, for sure. As much as you mentioned, the more you mentioned, the better. But I would still lean towards links, just because I do care about organic visibility still. So if you want to make sure those listicles work for both AI and search, links are pretty much better. But again, I have that SEO background. I think I will never, ever stop caring about links. I'm so traumatized by that. Years of trying to figure out link building strategies for a variety of clients have spoiled me. Like I usually on the side, like, yes, that's nice to be mentioned, but let's figure out how to do that with links anyway. Maybe they will send also traffic, but sure, AI does not care about links as much as search. So if you can get mentioned in listicles without getting any link, it's still very useful.
Wasn't there just like some research findings about how like there's a lot of correlation between the rankings on Google and what shows up in AI, and Google ranks like is really driven by links. So I think they're still really important, just not as directly.
Yes, of course. And I mean, It is not easy to find the correlation these days, but because AI increasingly fans out, so you have to search for those search queries as well to figure out why they picked even that citation or that brand. But for sure, organic visibility is useful in two ways. First of all, as we know, the main players, the main AI players, rely on Google. At least three of them. ChatGPT relies on Google Index. Gemini, obviously, and AI mode rely on Google Index, and Perplexity is almost 100% Google. It's almost like summary of Google search results in many cases. So being on Google directly helps you being in AI. So that's why we always talk about both. You cannot be in AI as much unless you are doing well in SEO. And another thing is that organically visible brands, they are more popular because it's still the biggest, search is still the biggest visibility channel. So the more you pop up here and there in search results, the more people know about you, the more they ask questions about you, the more they discuss you everywhere. So it drives that AI visibility indirectly as well. So anytime we talk about visibility and AI, it always starts with good and well-performing SEO strategy for sure.
Let's see. Oh, my other questions. We already kind of talked about these, but I guess like what are just your quick tips for getting your brand in co-citations with competitors, just as a summary?
Yep. So first of all, there are different approaches for outreach in general. Like it's not just about co-citation. Anytime you reach out to someone for the link, for the mention, there are two huge different approaches. One is just the more the better. That's how many businesses are built. That's how many outreach campaigns are more successful. Just the sheer volume of emails that they send works. I never tried that approach. I'm always very, very relationship building driven. So I want that outreach to also result into something more than backlinks, whether it's better connections, some new connections on social media, new introductions to editors. It's always that. So my method of outreach is always, it's not just email that author, it also find them on LinkedIn, find them on Twitter, connect to them, talk to them. Maybe on Twitter you can add them to lists to interact with them, those new connections that you want to be in touch with. Usually, in my case, I would take a little percentage would be just replying to my emails. But the biggest drive, the biggest wins for me, especially on large publications, have always been through those personal connections. As a service, it's very hard to justify and explain because it takes a little longer to get to know those people and get to know like what drives them. But it's usually in long term more effective because when those editors are connected with me and we keep somehow interacting with each other, it doesn't have to be every day. We can like each other every 3 months, or I can reshare something they post every 6 months, but being in touch after personal communication, they feature my clients or me in the future articles as well. That is, I feel like, the biggest thing of having relationships with people who write about your topic. Not just one link, it always results in something more. So there are two approaches of getting into existing lists. You can choose your own. I never ever tried that bulk approach, but I've always heard that it's something that drives real results. Maybe that's not true. Maybe that's true. I've never tried that. Usually, of course, I feel like you can experiment. I'm always very careful with third-party outreaches because I've seen those emails go extremely wrong, and your brand or our client is in that conversation, like the center of that conversation. That could be very not good for your brand, especially these days when people go on Reddit. We have a few clients actually who have problems on Reddit just because of those emails, the outreach campaigns they did. And those people would go to Reddit and just talk about how unethically that company is approaching the reaching out to potential customers or potential publishers. So I usually very careful, especially when it's on behalf of my clients. I take the longer approach. That's why I've never been able to actually scale that strategy very well. It's always I was like, okay, we take a difficult, wrong, safe, long-term approach. And with that, thank you so much. I hope you had some ideas of how to approach co-citation or co-occurrence strategy in the future, and you will try something like that to increase your visibility in both Google and AI answers. Please join us again next week, Wednesday, 1 p.m. AST. I don't think we missed a single Wednesday yet, so you can always just add that to your calendar and wait for us to be there. We never ever miss a Wednesday. Thank you so much. Subscribe nsmarty.com to know which topics we are discussing each week. Go through archives. I'm sure you will find some great advice and ideas there as well. And see you next week. Thank you, April. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.